Hello, it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. Today we're making Irish soda bread.
Alrighty, here we go. Now, for your Irish soda bread, you are going to need basically 4 ingredients. You're going to need all-purpose flour, 3½ cups. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of salt. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and you are going to need 1½ cups of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, which honestly I never have buttermilk, you are going to need to sour your milk. So measure out your milk and add about 1 tablespoon of white vinegar or lemon juice. That will sour the milk, and your milk will get kind of curdly. Curdly? I don't know if you can see that, but it will curdle a little bit, okay? Now, the reason you have to have the sour milk or the buttermilk is because the acidity of the milk, the buttermilk or the sour milk, reacts with the baking soda, which causes carbon dioxide to form in your bread and makes it rise or rise. So that's the science, I guess you'd say, behind it. Okay? All right. So I am going to sift my flour here, and in here I have a cup. I actually have 2 cups of flour. Now, you don't have to sift the flour, but honestly, I prefer to sift it because it just makes me feel better. And I also sift in my salt and my soda because there's nothing worse than biting into a baked good and tasting baking soda or baking powder. It is disgusting. Okay, so I have my 1/2 cup measure here, so I'm going to do 1 more 1½ cup, which will give me 3½ cups of flour. So, and I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of baking soda, or some say bicarbonate of soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, these are pretty simple ingredients. When you say, I would say they are. All right, I'll finish this up here and get it all mixed. Awesome. Now, I'm just going to take my spatula and I'm going to just make sure that all of the dry ingredients are well incorporated. Okay, are we good? All right, we're good. Let me back you up a little bit there. Okay, now then, my milk is curdled because I put 1 tablespoon of vinegar in the milk. It is 1½ cups of milk. I don't get too picky. I measured out 1½ cups of milk, and then I put in the tablespoon of vinegar. I'm not going to split hairs when it comes to that and worry about, is it just exactly 1½ cups, okay? So, I'm going to add that in there. You can see on the bottom, it's curdled. That's what you're looking for. So, don't say, oh, gross. Now, I'm going to mix it. Now, I have my oven preheated at 400 degrees. It's already preheated. And I'm going to put my bread on a baking sheet. There's a myriad of ways that you can bake this bread, but I'm going to do it on a baking sheet, which is actually my pizza stone. I use pizza stones for baking cookies and all kinds of things, so... but if you've got a baking sheet, a cookie sheet, cast iron skillet, whatever it is, it must be oven proof. You can put it in a Dutch oven if you like. it's just whatever you have. And I'm going to make this a round loaf. But you know, honestly, you don't have to make it round. You can just put it in a loaf pan. It won't look like traditional Irish soda bread, but that's okay. It's your bread. You do it however you like. Now you see here, my dough is pretty dry, so I'm going to grab a little more milk and I'm going to add it in there. Be right back. Sometimes you cannot anticipate these things. You just have to roll with it. So here we go. I'm going to add all that in there. And let's see if it comes together better, because we don't want our bread to be stiff and dry. And your dough should be moist. It should be, it's a wet dough, and it should be a little bit, it'll be shaggy. It won't be pretty, but that's okay. I think for my own satisfaction, I'm going to put just a tad more of milk. That's okay. And here we go. Scraping my sides, making sure that it's all in there. Now then, you scrape that off. Scrape this off here. And I'm going to just form it into a little round. This is a quick bread, so you're not kneading it. It's not a yeast bread. So, put a little flour in my hands. And honestly, I have to do it kind of the lazy way because I don't want to dirty my counter and have something else to clean up. You know what I'm saying? So that's fine. Now, if you have to sprinkle a flour on there, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Now, you're not going to mess with this very much. I'm just shaping it. I'm doing this to shape it into a nice ball or round loaf. Okay? And I'm also going to put a little bit of flour on my, there, that's what we need. And look, I didn't even dirty the countertop. I have on a black sweater today, and just a word to the wise, you may not want to wear black when you make your bread. Silly old woman. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of flour. You can't see it, but I'm going to put it, just put some on my baking stone. And let's see if I can back you up a little bit. I got to wash my hands off. All right. Let's get you down here where you can see this baking stone that I have here. Got that. There you are. Here it is. Awesome. Okay. Now then, I'm going to take my dough here, and I'm going to put it on my baking stone. But you, like I said, use whatever you have. I'm just using this because that's what I always use. I actually don't even own a cookie sheet anymore. I know! Isn't that terrible? Alright, now then, I'm going to take a knife. This is actually a serrated knife. Now here's the thing about Irish soda bread. You always put a cross in the middle of the bread. Okay, we're going to cut that. And the legend is that it blesses the bread by putting a cross in the bread. And then you're supposed to actually put a hole in the middle of the bread, which lets the troublesome fairies escape so that they don't ruin your bread. So, shall we try that? All right. I'm going to cut the bread. And what this is is blessing the bread. Okay, we're going to bless the bread. All right, so we got our crust in there. Some recommend you cut almost all the way through, and some recommend that you don't. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to put a hole in there in the center of the cross. And then here's the thing. It's like, when you bless the bread, it's actually Father, Son, and Holy Ghost blessing the bread. Isn't that precious? I think it's precious too. So here we go. Now then, some people like to brush the bread with some of the sour milk, and they put oats on top, which looks pretty. Some people, there are recipes out there for Irish soda bread that contain egg and butter as well. But I just want to show you this is the simplest way with the simplest, easy to obtain so far ingredients that you could use in a pinch, and honestly just make it because it's delicious. So I'm going to put it in the oven, 400 degrees for 30 minutes, and then we're going to check it and see what we have. All right? All right, stick with me. Don't leave me. You don't want to miss this. All right, be right back. Well, in 30 minutes. Okie doke, the bread is done. Now, I added another 5 minutes or so to the bread because I just felt like it wasn't brown enough. But you be the judge of that, okay? Hear how this bread sounds? It's got a crispy crust. It sounds kind of hollow. And the bottom should be, see what we're looking at there? You see that? Anyway, I'm going to put this on a, first thing I'm going to do is grab some butter, and I'm going to put some butter on this crust. It just softens up the crust a little bit, and I like the taste. So that's what I'm going to do. I have a part of a stick here, and I'm just going to just put some butter on it. Let it melt. And it's going to be good. Okay? You can put as much as you want. You don't have to do it this way. You can brush it on if you want to. It's not a big deal. You do whatever you like, and just, I'm going to let that melt down there. It does soften the crust just a little bit, and it makes it tasty. But you can see where the bread has a pretty good rise on it. All right. So, I want to put this on a rack, and I'm going to let it cool down because it is very, very, very hot. So let's put this on the rack for about, I'm going to put it on there for about 20 minutes. And we'll come back and we'll cut it and we'll see what we have. It's exciting. And of course I'll have to taste it for you. All right, we'll be back. Okie dokie, we're back. Now, this has been cooling for about 20 minutes. So let's cut into it and see what we have. Are you nervous? I'm kind of nervous, but you know what? I'm always nervous every time I cut into bread. I don't know. I just am. Now, what I have here is a serrated knife. It seems to works better than other knives, especially for cutting bread. So here we go. Now you notice, see if I show you here. You notice how the cross that we made in the bread has actually now divided the bread. So it's going to make it a little bit easier to cut into sections. So let's see what we've got. I always get very nervous every time I cut into bread. And you know what? Even if this turned out badly, I would still use it. I would let it dry out or put it in the freezer and just turn it into breadcrumbs. So it wouldn't go to waste. Really and truly, that's what I would do. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what we got here. And then, you know, you always get concerned. Did you underbake it? Did you overbake it? I don't know. So let's see what we have. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right, let's take a look at that. What do you think? Huh? It smells good. Now, it doesn't smell like yeast bread, but it really does smell delicious. So, take a look here. It's even got some nice little holes in it. Now, I'm going to, let's take a look at the big one too. See that? What do you think? I think it's great. All right, now then, I'm going to try a piece of this bread, but hold on because I want to grab some strawberry fruit spread, some jam for me. Okay, hold on. I have a little bit of, this is actually just a fruit spread that I make. When fruit gets a little bit not so pretty, just add some sugar to it, put it in a saucepan, and you can make your own fruit spread. And you might never buy jam again because you can use just about any kind of fruit to make your own fruit spreads. This is strawberry. So it's pretty easy. So I'm going to cut myself a slice of bread here. I'm going to make mine kind of thick. You can do yours however you like. Now listen, Irish soda bread made this way tends to dry out quickly. So make sure that you store it in an airtight container or in a type of a zip bag so that you can use it. And it'll stay nice and fresh for about, oh, I don't know, what, 7 days. But it won't last 7 days because you'll eat it up. What do you think? I think it looks good. And another thing, you can freeze it for 2 or 3 months. It freezes just fine. If you got a desire to freeze it. What do you think? All right, here we go. Well, I have to say, pardon me, it's really good. I gotta grab a spoon. Let's put a little bit of fruit spread on there. See how good this looks? It's really easy to make. Maybe I should demonstrate that sometime. The problem is, I just never think of it because I do it when I see that the fruit is a little sad and needs some love. Okay, got my strawberry on there. You know what? That's better than dessert. I'm not kidding. Okay, that's it. That's all she wrote. Listen, I hope you give this a try. Because honestly, if I can do it, you can do it. It's so easy. The ingredients are so few. And I want to thank you for subscribing to this channel. It means the world to me. It really does. All right, listen. I love you. And as always, you just remember that little is much when God is in it. And there's proof right here because this bread got blessed. Okay, love ya. I'll talk to you later. Bye.